The following video is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only and does not constitute money laundering advice. Always consult an expert lawyer and accountant when looking to launder money professionally. So last week I was watching the series Ozark on Netflix, which by the way is an amazing show. It reminded me of an incident I had about 8 or 9 months ago. My mom was preparing for some kind of financial exam and there was a chapter on black money and money laundering. She was memorizing it and she said to herself, "The 3 stages of money laundering are," and within a fraction of a second I replied, "placement, layering and integration." She was kind of surprised. How did a 16-year-old kid know what money laundering is or how money laundering works? Is that what's being taught in schools? I hope not. So in this video I'll be trying to cover how money laundering works. So let me be completely transparent here. I'm not an accountant, lawyer or a CPA. I'm just a guy who is interested in knowing about money laundering, and I'll be explaining it to you in simple words. So I spent the last 72 hours reading articles, documents, case studies, examples, methods on money laundering and consuming every piece of information I could. And today I'll make it simple enough for you to understand. So what exactly is money laundering?
What is that?
Money laundering, in the simplest terms, is the process of making illegally obtained money look like it has come from legal sources. Let's say you are in a shady business of selling drugs.
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Or extortion. Or kidnapping or trafficking.
Kidnapping. That's kidnapping.
That's how you make your money. So let's say you make an extra $500,000 through illegal methods. What would you do with it? You can't really spend it. If you buy a fancy car or a mansion, you'll be under the government's radar pretty soon, and you'll be questioned on how you made that money. You better have an explanation for that, because if you tell the truth, you go into the prison for a very long time. So your goal is to make the money look like it has come from legitimate sources. That's what money laundering is. Money laundering has been around for over 2,000 years. But it became what it is in the early 1900s during the era of Al Capone. Yeah, the famous drug king on whom the movie Scarface is based on.
Say hello to my little friend!
He was one of the most famous people to launder huge sums of money. Now your question might be, why is it called money laundering? Imagine a washing machine. What does it do? The answer is pretty simple. It washes dirty clothes. So you put in the dirty clothes along with detergent and stuff, and it gives you clean clothes. Similarly, in money laundering, you use dirty black money and wash it to make it appear white. That's what money laundering is. During the 1940s, laundromats were pretty big things to launder money, so that's why it's called money laundering. Now, money laundering is a very big industry. Money laundering is actually a $200 billion to a $2 trillion a year industry globally. To put things in perspective, the pharma industry worldwide is around $1.2 trillion a year. So let's talk about the 10 methods of how money laundering works. The first method is called structuring, aka smurfing. The next one is bulk cash smuggling. The third one is trade-based laundering. Fourth one is cash-intensive businesses, shell companies, round-tripping, casinos, black capture, black salaries, and transaction laundering. Now, the simplest method to launder money out of the country is to take physical cash. Now, if you have watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, you know there's a scene where a European girl and a family smuggles over $1 million through the airport. They go into Switzerland and they have suitcases filled with cash.
The next day, Aunt Emma flew to Geneva. $2 million in cash in her carry-on, which in the big picture was a drop in the Swiss bucket. Because the following month, over the course of 6 round trips, Chantal's family and friends smuggled in over $20 million in cash without even a hiccup.
And by the way,
now that is extremely risky method of money laundering. You don't want to do this. If you carry a lot of cash, you will be questioned at the airport. So what you can do is you can hire SMURFS. Now before talking about SMURFS, let's talk about the 3 stages of money laundering: placement, layering, and integration. Placement is this first step of money laundering. It is often the riskiest method because this is the stage when you inject loads of black money into the system. Your risk of getting caught is the highest in this stage. The second step is layering. It is the most complex step. In this step, the illegally obtained money is injected into the system, and now you run multiple transactions to make it look complex so that the government won't trace it. Third step is integration. This is the final step. The risk of getting caught here is minimum, although there's a risk. And in this method, your black money is actually turned into white. You can use it to spend it on anything like a supercar, a house, or a politician. So let's talk about SMURFing. In the United States or Canada, you can't really issue over $10,000 in cash without coming under the radar. If you deposit anywhere north of $10,000, you will be reported, and that is something you don't want.
Okay, what do you think you're going to do with all of that cash? Can't just stick it in that hole behind a urinal in whatever the hell place this is, okay? And you can't put it in the bank. These guys file cash transaction reports to the IRS for any deposits over $10,000, so forget about the bank.
So if you have $500,000 to launder, you can't really use the ATM. You can't really deposit the money. So what do? You use SMURFS. No, I'm not talking about those blue SMURFs in the movie SMURFs. A SMURF is a money launderer who breaks down huge amount into smaller transactions to avoid detection. So let's say you want to launder $500,000. You can't do it in one go. So now what you do is you hire 20 SMURFs, and they deposit $9,000 each just to stay under the radar. So $9,000 into 20 SMURFs, that's about $180,000 in a single day. 3 trips and you have successfully laundered $540,000 without being caught. Now SMURFing isn't so easy. If you go to a small town, you'll be recognized when you deposit the money too often. If you go to a huge city, your SMURFs will have to wait in the line, which slows down the process, and speed matters a lot in money laundering. Here's an example. Let's say you somehow make, $500,000 illegally through drugs or extortion. That's quite a lot of money. How would you launder it? The simplest way would be to buy a restaurant. Now this is a classic method. It was used in the suburbs in the 1950s. Buy an existing restaurant that already has employees and a cook. Now it doesn't really matter if the business is profitable or not. The big thing is accept only cash. Do you know why a lot of businesses accept only cash? It's because cash is almost untraceable. Card transactions can be traced by government, which can spoil your plan. This is a reason why a lot of landlords accept only cash as rent and not online wire transfer. So what you do is, let's say 80 to 120 people come in your restaurant every day. A lot of money is changed every day, and even if an extra $500 go missing or a new $500 comes in, nobody knows. So you use the extra $500 from the black money every day and make it appear like it has come from the customers. $500 every day for 365 days is $182,000 a year. But it will still take you 4 years to launder the entire sum. How can you speed up the process? Easy. Buy another restaurant. Once you buy like 10 restaurants, each laundering $500 a day, you have successfully laundered $1.8 million in a year without getting caught. Now this is a stage where a lot of people get greedy. $500 a day goes to $600. That's around $2.2 million a year. An extra $400,000. Pretty sweet. But then the 600 goes to 700, the 700 goes to $1,000 a day. Now the government spots a small restaurant making too much money. Now you have to bribe politicians, policemen, your local bankers on the scheme. You gotta pay 50% in commissions and cuts to everyone, because if you don't, they're gonna rat you out. And finally, you're in prison. Let's talk about another method, which is casinos. Which city or place is the world's gambling center? No, it's not Goa. It's not even Las Vegas. It's Macau. Macau, aka Las Vegas of the East, comes under Chinese territory. It weighs 3 times more than Las Vegas, and it is the most densely populated place on earth. How do you launder money in Macau? Let's say that you have, an extra $50 million worth of black money. That's a lot of money. Good enough to buy you a private jet. But you can't really buy it because you'll be caught. So what you do is you go to Macau with a lot of illegally obtained money and you deposit the money to obtain chips for it. Gambling chips. Now you gamble for some time just to show off. You play poker, roulette, slots, etc. You win some money, you lose some money, but overall it's a small dent in your giant mountain of cash. And then you cash out. So when you try to cash out, you will have an option whether how do you want to cash it out. And then you can choose US dollars and then declare the money as casino winnings. You can also go with a partner and bet on a roulette table. One person uses 50% of the capital and bets on black, and the other person uses the another 50% and bets on red. You'll be in a no profit, no loss zone as long as O or double O doesn't show up. There are other methods of money laundering too, such as setting up a small shell company in the British Cayman Islands, or laundering money through real estate or financial securities. Technology improves, the method of money laundering are getting more and more complex. Money laundering is a pretty complex topic, probably one of the most complex financial topics ever, and I have simplified it significantly. It's not so easy to launder money, plus the fine is pretty high too. It's minimum 3 years in prison, more like 7 or 10 years with a $500,000 in penalty. I didn't go to the fine print, but money laundering is definitely a huge industry comprising of everyone from Mexican drug cartels to billionaires. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, give it the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and press on that bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. You can message me or talk to me if you want, and like this video. And till that time, see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.